Hello. Am I audible? Uh, Hello. Can I? Am I audible now?
Good morning, Shikha.
Good morning, Dolly. Am I audible?
So we're just about to start.
Oh, no problem.
Yes, I just wanted to test your screen also.
Yes, yes.
Right. So we wait for a minute or two before we can start because we have people starting.
Yeah. So my screen is shared. Is all? It's all fine. Dolly, my screen is shared. Is it fine?
It's perfect.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. So today we are going to have our seventh session of the Fashion Hackathon on blockchain and applications for fashion. Shikha Maheshwari, who's the technical solutions architect at IBM, will be presenting today an overview of blockchain and its application for fashion. We would be having the technical overview in the first half of the day, and then we will be having discussion on how we could improve upon the adoption of blockchain in the fashion industry, as well as take some use cases which are being practiced in other countries as well as India. So I'd like to briefly introduce Shikha. Shikha Maheshwari is a technical solutions architect with 14 years of experience in IBM. She's passionate about technology and always looking forward to learn new technologies. In her current role, she focuses on developing IBM developer content related to application modernization, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technologies. She enables business partners for the IBM cloud technology, blockchain, AI, and help them to build their solutions. Her area of expertise includes IBM Cloud, blockchain, Kubernetes, Node.js, and JavaScript. She's a regular speaker on blockchain at numerous universities and has presented IBM in various external conferences. Our second speaker would be Dolly Bhasin. That's me. I founded the SmartEdge platform for innovators to promote learning, innovation, and acceleration, to promote technologies to be adopted by youth, women, and SMEs. I've helped over 9,000 professionals and businesses under SmartEdge in the last 3 years through experiential learning. Uh, as a part of the Fashion Summit, we are actually having a 15 days boot camp uh, on certain areas which lead towards sustainable fashion and promote technology adoption. I would now request Shikha to please unmute herself and start with the session.
Thanks, Dolly. Thanks for the introduction. Good morning, all, and welcome to the session Blockchain and Applications for the Fashion. I will be, I'll be taking through I'll not go into the deeper technology because I understand, that will be like too much for the session, but I will try to touch upon the technology so that you should understand how you can use in your in your industry, in your domain, because you people are domain experts, right? Give me a minute. I'll just start. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. So I'll start with the agenda. What I will be covering, or in this sequence I'll be covering is like, I'll be giving introduction to the industry, what we are doing or why we are doing, how should technology interrupt there, how it is already has been disrupted. Then I'll slowly come to blockchain. Blockchain, what is blockchain? Why we are wanted to use blockchain in the fashion industry? And then I'll touch upon the other industry applications itself, and I'll be giving you a few small demos using blockchain technology so that you can visualize how can you use blockchain in the fashion industry. Let's get started. This is as per the IBM internal guidelines, we need to show that. So it is just for that purpose, nothing else. Okay, so now let's start with the fashion. Okay, so I'll be talking about fashion. So fashion may include many things. It could be apparel, it could be clothing, it could be shoes, anything, right? And it can be for men, it can be for women, kids. So there are so many things which just include in the fashion. You might be working in one area as a fashion designer, but others might be working in a different area. So today's session we will be targeting for all, where I am saying that what I will be covering, what do I consider in the fashion, in the sense technology can fit it into in the all areas. So I'll be talking general, not only about apparel, not only about shoes, not jewelry and all. So I'll be talking about everything. Okay, so when I say fashion industry, then it may fit, it may be quickly fit in, can fit in the apparel fashion, or it may fit into the shoes, but it will be applicable for all. Now, why we are doing this session, or why fashion industry is important, who will take the next step for this industry, how, when, where, right? So at the end of the session, you should get answer of this, or I must say that, in the starting few slides only, you should get answer of these questions so that it will be very easy to understand the technology and then where it gets fit in and how can we move further. Okay, I'll request all of you, please post your questions to the chat window so that we can take it up timely. I'll take a pause after a few minutes when topic comes to just logically conclude so that we can take and clarify the doubts at that moment. It will be easier to understand for the wider audience also. Okay, so when I say what all I'll be including in the fashion and everything, as I mentioned already, it can be apparel, it can be shoes, it can be jewelry, it can be for men, women, anything. I'm talking about in general fashion industry. Now, why we are talking about this fashion industry is because this is growing very fast. Okay, the fashion industry is growing very fast and it's like a trendsetter. So now we should think about that how can we take a lead in this industry, because it is very important. And it's not only that, we should look at only the we have seen that there are many brands which are non-Indian also, but can we make in India as a trend setter, right? So there are many opportunities in this area. That's why fashion industry is very important in the society. And also it brings different people together to celebrate their own individuality. So keeping that in mind, that why are we doing this? Why are we enabling ourselves for these technologies? We should keep in mind we are in a very important area. We are working towards a very no, bright future of India. Or say we are fitting technology in a very new domain where it has potential. Okay. So now with that, I'll just take another to see what is the approach in any, in the fashion industry. In the sense, you talk about anything, but the life cycle of that product is same. It starts from the raw material, then it goes to production, it goes to retail, usage and disposal. Each and every step it has its own methodology, own process, its own life cycle. But at the end-to-end life cycle of any product, be it in the fashion industry or be it in any other domain, it's in finance or say in retail, anywhere you see it, that approach is like end-to-end. When we say it's called cradle to cradle, it is what material to production to retail, usage and then disposal. So there are, this is what we are saying, right? So when we are talking about this life cycle, then we should think about it that, innovation is possible in every stage. Okay, so it means there is an opportunity to solve or to bring innovation at each of these stages, where some of the stages are already covered or already done, but some of this has is still in area where we can pitch in, where we can do something better than that, right? So now, for example, now when we say production in the olden time, if we talk about that was like um, manual productions, because that time demand and supply. But when the demand increases, then if you are generating the goods manually, then it will not suffice the purpose. Then you will bring some automation, you will bring some machinery there, right, which will be like automating some of your tasks and then doing it. So that is what we said, that was the need of the hour, so we invented machine. We invented some more robots. Say we invented some new ways to do that so that we can meet with the demands, right? We can meet the requirement of the time. Similarly, there is a possibility at each stage where we have seen that there are many places where it is already done, but still you can make it more better. But we do notice there are areas where nothing is done so far, which should have done or which can be done with the latest technologies, what we have currently in hand, and it will be very easy to proceed further in that area. Correct. So there are many challenges in every industry. Similarly, there are many challenges in the fashion industry also. Now, when we talk about the challenges, you can name on many challenges, but I just took few of those challenges just to set the context of the session that we are trying to solve some problem by having these technology sessions. Why are we looking to fit in technology in the fashion industry? So that's why I just took an example of few challenges, a few of the examples that how are we solving, how we have solved few examples. It's all depends on the like when it was needed and when was it solved, how it was solved. Correct. It inspires us. It gives us like pointer to think about. Then why can't we solve the real time problems what we are facing now? And now technology is more and more advanced, and most of those are like proven technologies which can be really helpful there. Right. So now when we see the major challenge or the current trend, according to the current trend in the fashion industry, we say that every brand is figuring out like how to operate as a fast fashion company, right? Fast fashion means that every the fast fashion brand is like Zara, say H&M. These are like every week mostly they change the your designs, they change the wardrobes, and it's very dynamic. In the sense, if you go every week to the mall, you will say, "Wow, again a new collection, right?" How are they maintaining that? So there are technologies behind the scenes, but not every brand can keep up to that pace. But everyone wants to do some advancements what they are doing now or where they are wherever they are lacking. Correct. So in that way, how do we know? How should we do? And now we have seen that there are many areas where fashion industries has already transformed the way they make the clothes, the way they are selling, the way they are buying the material, right? So there are many areas where they have already transformed. Again, improvements has no limits, advancements has no limits, so you can still work on those areas. But I'm just giving you an example that how they have overcome those challenges at that time, and now how can we enhance the experience on those on those experiences, or you say then can we find out the new areas where we can fit in technology and make it very good experience for the end users. So automation is the key. Like for example, when we read about the case studies about that, the way the jeans were used, produced, they were like the shading and the material, the pattern, what they made on the jeans. Previously, it used to be manual, but then the demand to meet the demand, that manual effort will not work, and that will becomes very costly. So you have to balance it out with the cost and other quality also, right? So with that, then they came up with some laser machineries where are making with the laser rays, they are making patterns on those things. And that becomes like, that finish is always better because that precision, the way machine work, and of course, human, there are less chances that it will be very much equivalent to that machines, right? So there are a difference also in the quality and the finishing what it comes. So that's how they have done the, they came out with that automation. Now, similarly, there are other challenges when they see that, okay, we are producing in bulk, but it is not being consumed in that way because it's a fast fashion moving, right? It's fast moving. So how can you maintain that? So then some companies come up with the concept saying that let's produce it on demand. But what they do, they are showing designs already. If people order, then they should produce on demand. But yes, at the same time, you need to meet that person should get it on time. So again, so that is what the challenge you should compensate, or you should plan accordingly, so that it should not be like that today I order and I should get it after a month. That will not be acceptable in the, customers will not accept that as such. So there are ways to do that. So once you have ecosystem support is there, then you can achieve all these things. So when, if you are thinking production on demand, then let's figure it out for the other parts whether can we deliver it on time, right? So like that, the other challenges comes into picture when you think about an idea. Correct. Now, similarly, and then one more case study I was just reading yesterday, which was talking about the customized production in the sense. Now, I like some design or say some apparel, but it will not fit on my body because everyone has their own choices. They have their own choices or own type of material, type of cloth, own fitting. Right? Everybody is different. Correct. So what they are doing is they are doing customized production. They have used some technology to get the measurement of your, for that apparel, and then accordingly they will stitch and then deliver it on time. Now, nowadays, if you see that one new that eco-friendly or say eco-fashion is also in band, where everyone is moving towards organic, because as I mentioned before, that if you are producing in mass, then it should be consumed. If it is not consumed and fashion becomes outdated, then what will you do with that product, right? So it happens. It is very general thing also. Every time it is not guaranteed that whatever you are building it will be liked by users, but production might be more. And moreover, if you are not using technology so far on the basis of AI prediction or so, then most of the cases it will be more. So can we recycle the product? Can we use that product after some time, recycle it, and then use it? And moreover, because when we see the numbers in the fashion industry, we do see that it uses water, it uses electricity, power, and there are the things where the optimization is possible. Ultimately water is required for everyone, correct? So there are if product is not recyclable, so whatever the resources has been used to make that product, it will be wasted if it is not used, correct? And if it is used also, and if you recycle it, then it will be very good, because it's like we are continuously using those resources, right? So such things that that recyclable products or so, it leads to material revolution or say fabric revolution. So there are many areas where fashion industry works, right? These are like mostly what I have given examples, those were like mostly towards the infrastructure optimization, where I'm talking about that people are using machines to make the clothes, where people are using fabric to recycle the product or so. But how about the other technology, which are disrupting our fashion industry these days, and it is fueling customer experience. These days, the customer experience is the at utmost importance, because if the customer will get good experience, you will get number of recommendations, they will recommend to others, and moreover, till the time customer will not get a good experience, that product will not get sold out, right? So it is like it is common in each industry. It's not there or specifically for fashion industry, but it is common in all industries. So what I understand that you have already attended sessions for AI, IoT, or AR, where all these how these technologies are, enabling our fashion industry, or they how the possibilities, or where are the areas where you can use these technologies. So I have just covered it up saying that, just to set the background, there are a number of technologies. I have taken few examples. For example, artificial intelligence, where you can people have created open that fashion AI store, where it's just like, at the real time it will recommend you, it will mix and match, personalize mix and match. For example, you take a jeans, then it will suggest you with which type of tops can go with it better. Or say if you're buying shoes, then which type of shoe may look better, or the similar items, right? So there are many areas where it directly touched the customer, then customer will be more inclined towards that. And moreover, whenever we go for shopping, or we get confused with so many products, right? And then if you out of 100, if you are suggesting me 10, then let's try it out those 10. So it is like that inclination towards that try it out and then towards the sell will increase. Correct? Now, similarly, there are one of the Levi's case study was there where they have designed jackets with sensors. So it's like, we are wearing jackets and the jacket itself can help you to navigate the path or to receive the phone call, right? So there are ways that why are they doing it? It means people are facing difficulty, while doing that. So there are things where we do that. Yeah, just give me a minute, please. Yeah, sorry about that. Um, I need to just open the chat. Okay, so now next is AR. AR is augmented reality where you can give people fit, these days because of pandemic, if you see, then of course I cannot go to the showroom, I cannot try it out, I can't see in my mirror, but I still people are doing shopping. Correct. So that AR is the technology where it will give you as like a 3D fit, 3D experience. Just you are sitting in home only. Sometimes depends on the application, how the customer, how the partners has designed and which brand is using which type of app. So on that basis, you can see either it could be in the retail store. If you go to the store, you do not need to try it out. It will just show you like that. Or if you can, do it at your home or at your comfort level. So it all depends, but it will give you the experience, and without trying it out, the things you can feel that how it will look on you. So that is what we call it augmented reality. Right now, robotics is like the way these days supply chains are working, that warehousing aspect of that, in the sense the like we just take an example of Amazon, that how are they delivering. So it's nowadays no one is reading the address, no one is distributing the parcels here and there. No, everything is automated. It is happening because of that robotics, and the QR code is there, which gets scanned and it gets identified which rail to go. It means which side, means they are dividing regions wise, then zones wise, the way they are doing that. So there are is like no robotics comes into picture where industrial robots are used. Okay. Now, next is blockchain. Now, how can blockchain fit in? I understand that other areas are still there. You have already attended this session. But now let's talk about the blockchain. How blockchain will fit into in your industry, right? So, but before understanding that, I think we should understand how blockchain can play a role. Or, in fact, before doing more into that, what is blockchain? So the blockchain will play a role in fashion industry. But before that, we need to understand what is blockchain, right? So now, whenever someone talks about blockchain, what's the first thing comes in your mind? I believe most of you will say that the first thing which comes in our mind is Bitcoin, right? But blockchain is not Bitcoin. So that's a myth that whenever we talk about blockchain, everyone thinks that it's a Bitcoin. But sorry to say, that's it's only and only myth. Blockchain is not a Bitcoin, but yes, Bitcoin is one of the implementation of the public blockchain. Okay, so it means that a blockchain is a technology, is a concept. For example, AI. What is AI? Like where it can understand like human and do some work. That's an AI. Now, similarly, what is blockchain? Blockchain is what where we are saying that it's an set of transaction which happens among participants, that blockchains aims to provide like irrefutable proof, means that you cannot prove it wrong or you cannot do anything wrong with the set of transaction. Okay, so I'll come to that what exactly the blockchain is. But now AI, if we talk about AI, there are many ways you can do. It all depends what you want it to do, right? With AI, for example, you want to do visual recognition, you want it to do some text reading, whatever you want it to do, according to that you will do. But that is AI. Everything is not AI, right? Similarly, blockchain has some standard concept. It's a technology. Now we have different implementations of the type of blockchain. So Bitcoin is one of the type or one of the blockchain implementation where we'll deal with the cryptocurrencies, right? So generally cryptocurrencies and all does not fit in our industry or say in the businesses. That's altogether different story that what, why and for which purpose we are using Bitcoin. But when we talk about blockchain in the businesses, like in the fashion industry, we think about something different. Use cases should come in a different way, right? So to get that clarity, I'll just explain what is blockchain. I'll go a little technical. If it gets, please post your questions continuously. I'll just take a pause in a few minutes and then we will get that answer, right? So now when we say blockchain, then it is like it has a smart contract and it has the shared replicated permissioned ledger. Now, what all are these, right? I'll go into details one by one, and then we will talk about what is this, right? So before understanding blockchain, we should understand what are the terms which we talk about in general whenever we are talking about blockchain. So whenever you have read about blockchain anywhere or you hear blockchain, the first thing comes in your mind is business network. So for the blockchain, the very first thing required is business network. You should have multiple parties involved in your business. Okay, so I'll just take an example, say supply chain where retailer, distributor, seller, shipper, there are many parties which comes into picture. You can consider these roles as a different companies altogether. Okay, it can be part of the same company. But the thing is, there are multiple business units involved in one business network, right? So there are multiple parties involved. So it means business network has to be there. Means if you are having only one business party or you are having only you are doing your business single-handedly, then you do not need blockchain. You have to have multi-party. You have to have different parties involved in the thing. It means you should have network. Okay. Now in blockchain, we always talk about what asset. Okay. In the blockchain network, in our business network, some asset must flow into the network, which will generate wealth. It means there should be something about some asset for which we are talking about in my business network. In the sense, if I talk about just a supply chain, then some parcel is moving. So that parcel or that box you can consider it is an asset of the network, right? If you go more deeper, then you can say some apparel is moving. Right? So it all depends which type of business you are doing, but some assets should be common, which is flowing into the network and produce wealth. Means wealth has to be generated using that asset in the network. Okay. Now, next terminology comes when we talk about blockchain, ledger. Now, what is the ledger? Ledger means records of your transactions. Means whatever you are doing, you are transferring that asset from one party to another. You are transferring that asset. Anything related to that asset, whatever is happening related to that asset in the network is in transaction. Whatever transaction is happening in the network, it gets recorded into the ledger. Okay, so record of all your ingoing, outgoing, any other transaction, whatever you are doing with your asset, it should record into the ledger, right? Now, how the transaction happens, there should be some rule. There should be some business logic behind that. It's not like I wish I will transfer this to retailer. Retailer says, no, I don't want to pass it to distributor or the further chain. I will just keep it with myself. No, there are some rules on which business works. There are some logic how business works, right? So those rules are the business logic should be written programmatically into the blockchain is called as a smart contract. The smart contract is what? Is the conditions or the agreement you can say through which or on that basis assets moves into the network, that should be coded as a smart contract. Right? Don't consider it as a legal agreement or so. No, that is not there. But the legal aspect is different. That is not with deal with the blockchain. But the conditions, the rules, how your network should work, that is what we should be worrying about. Like what should be written into the contract. Okay. So now the 5 things I talked about: contract, transaction, ledger, asset, and the network. Okay, so going forward, the blockchain, I will be just using these terminologies. So I'm just covering it. Now, I'll just relate all these things with a supply chain scenario so that we can you can easily understand that if there is a supply chain network, what is the current scenario, how it is working. I am not saying that everyone is maintaining the manual ledger, they are not writing anything. Everyone uses software this time. But the software, every party is using their own software, right? Now, if there is some regulatory body comes into that network and that needs the data, it will request to all the parties of the network, provide me that data, right? And to provide that data, whether all data are matching or not, that's again a loophole where we can find some gaps that data is not matching, right? Moreover, everyone is doing one-to-one transaction type thing. For example, if parcel is moving from supplier to distributor, then distributor to further, but supplier will not be knowing it, that is what, how and where distributor is distributing. It all depends on the business need though, but in general, I'm talking about, they will not bother about that how it is going to the end user. They might know about the next chain, but not beyond that. Correct? So there are ways that how to handle systems, and their system is working all fine, but still we find issues in that, right? So what are the problems in such cases? It is inefficient, expensive, and vulnerable. Inefficient means we are doing more and more transaction. Everyone is maintaining their own records. So, if I want an information coming to the network, then I have to ask to all. Then I have to tally. I have to confirm whether it is right or wrong, right? So it becomes expensive in that sense. And sometimes middlemen are involved to get that information, to aggregate that information, provided in the required form, right? So there are middlemen involved, which makes it more expensive in that way. And vulnerable we say because if someone's record is showing wrong data, then you do not know whether other data is dependent on that or that wrong information itself flowed into the network. Because of which it becomes vulnerable. There is no, we cannot, if say manufacturer has written something wrong, then that wrong information will flow into the network, because of which you cannot identify any time what was the right thing on from where it started, that wrong information flowing, right? So to solve that problem, what we can say, how about to have one ledger common to all parties comes to one network, say they use the same ledger, whatever transaction is happening, let's go into that, put it into that ledger, and everyone will have that copy of the ledger. So it means what we are saying is a shared ledger, which is like shared by all, replicated, everyone has its own copy, and the permission ledger. Permission in the sense that if you have permissions to see other parties' transaction, you see. Otherwise, you will not see. But whatever you are doing it, that is also getting recorded. So that access can you control. Sometimes it happens, right? If A and B party are doing business, C should not see. So that's quite fair, right? That's a business term. We should be, stick to it. So if there are ways that you can control that. So with that, the shared replicated permission ledger is a blockchain. Now it comes with their own thing. Now, as I said, that supply chain, we are maintaining everyone is maintaining their records. if information is required, they can share it in the current scenario, right? And if you need anything more on the top of that, anytime I do transaction, just an example, I mean, if any time I will do transaction, I will send that notification to other parties so that they can confirm whether they have recorded the same transaction, right? So such things to make it full, no, proven way, or there is no chances of any error. To make it, you have to have some more things in your system. You have to build something more using that technology. But in blockchain, if you use blockchain, everything comes out of the box. You do not need to do anything extra. It is just like that. Okay. So the consensus, provenance, immutability, and finality is the key point where we say that it comes out of the box. It comes with the blockchain. So I'll just quickly cover. Consensus means if any transaction happens in the network, it will be it will get consent from all the parties that if we say it's a good transaction, let's do it. Immutability means that's a main feature of the blockchain. If once the transaction is done in the blockchain network and it is logged into the ledger, then there is no way that you can modify that transaction. You cannot delete that. You cannot edit that. If by mistake also it may happen, you do another transaction that get logged into that will get recorded into the ledger, but previous one will not be deleted. So immutability, is the key factor through which we say it brings trust. Means when whatever is written into the blockchain, it is written. It is not right or wrong. There is no question of that right or wrong. It is bringing that trust and transparency because of that immutability feature, saying that if it is done, if it is written there, it means it was done. It's very simple, right? Sometimes businesses works on the basis of trust, right? Transparency, and if trust comes into the network, then business will grow, right? So with that, blockchain is more suitable for such businesses where do you need trust and transparency, and where you can utilize these features. Provenance means that you can trace the asset, whatever is moving into the network, from any point. It's like entire history, and the tracking history is recorded into the blockchain. You can take it anytime. Now, finality means that because it is like a replicated ledger, every party has the same ledger. So it means it is the single source of truth. It's a replicated one in the sense everyone's ledger will have the same information. So there is no way that I can party A say, no, I do not have that transaction in my record. How can you say that that transaction happened? So there is no way to do that because ledgers is speaking for all. Correct? So that is what we are, these are the major benefits of using blockchain. Okay, I'll not cover this. Let's skip it. So I'll just take a pause for a minute, and if there is any question, then I'll just cover it up uh, for the blockchain, and then I'll move forward.
If there are any questions, please type it in the chat box and then we'll have you unmuted to ask the question live.
If it is too fast, too technical, just provide that so that I can mold the session accordingly. The basic idea is you should get that idea that how can you use blockchain at the end of the session in the fashion industry. So that was the basic, that was the basic introduction of the blockchain. That why people are looking for that blockchain. It is because of provenance, finality, immutability, and the consensus. So it reduces, the inefficiencies from the system. What we do have in the current scenarios. the way businesses are happening. Okay, so you keep posting questions. That was a quick intro of the blockchain. I'll just take it further, and I'll try to give um, uh, some openers or some mind openers, things through which you can think about that in which scenario blockchain can be useful for you, or when you are thinking, say, what problem blockchain can solve the issue or can solve the problem, or how can blockchain add value in my business, then you should look for what parameters, right? So I'll just continue then. Then this slide says that blockchain is creating extraordinary opportunities for the businesses. It is creating new value. It means it is giving you opportunity for the new businesses, which will eliminate the inefficiencies of the current system. So whenever you are thinking about blockchain thing, you just understand it's a shared replicated permission ledger. That's a one thing. And it comes with consensus, provenance, immutability, and finality. It optimizes your ecosystem because all parties are on one network. Then again, communications will be less because whatever we are doing business, everything is on ledger and anyone can check at that moment, right? Reduces risk, yes, because it brings the transparency into the system, trust it brings, and it is a decentralized ledger. So of course there are risks are very less. Because of trust and transparency, you cannot do any wrong thing into the business. That is one part. Decentralized ledger means you cannot say that no, any party cannot say that we were not aware about this, or we didn't see that, or we do not know anything. Means you cannot give fake excuses also. Whatever is happening in your business, you will be aware of, right? So now with that, now when we say that no, blockchain is not that small investment when you build an application and when you build a use cases. So you should find out a good use case for the blockchain. Now, whenever you are thinking to find a use case for the blockchain, then three things which you needed. Do you have a business problem to solve? Means what business problem you are trying to solve. First, find out the problem. Second is, do you have a business network? In the sense, parties will be there, but do the parties ready to share the information on the network with all? It can be partial, still it's okay. But are they ready to share that? If not, then they will not be ready to come on the blockchain network. And then third thing is there a requirement of the trust in the network? So if there are needs of these things, then only blockchain will fit into the any use case, be it in any industry. Okay, so to finding a blockchain use case, it's not always easy. If you are having problem in your head, then it is very good. Second half we will be discussing more use cases and all. Then it's good if we can find out, but it's not that easy every time. Okay, again, same thing, business problem which cannot be solved or which cannot be efficiently solved with the other technologies. You should have a very valid and a strong reason that why do you need blockchain. That's the point here, right? And an identified business network where what will be the asset in your network, who will be the participants, which type of transactions you will be doing in your network. So such things you should be, you should collect that information before fitting blockchain into any problem. The need for trust, as I mentioned before, the blockchain comes with consensus, immutability, finality, provenance feature out of the box. You do not need to do anything extra. The blockchain designed in such a way that it will be achieved. So then there should be a need for the trust. Okay, so when we talk about that immutability, finality, or provenance, right? There are ways that you can achieve it with the other technologies also. It's not like that you cannot do, or these things were not at all there in in place in terms of technology. You can do, but the thing is, you need to put in more and more extra efforts to achieve that. If you are putting extra efforts, you are designing your own system. Just an example. If I'll just take an example for your industry, for the fashion industry, it may be not completely right, but just in case, I'll give a try. If I want to wear a jewelry, okay, where you will attach every beads into it, the pearls into it, whatever is my requirement. And you have to make grooves also for that, and then only you will stick to that, right? That is what my requirement, that I want this type of jewelry where these many pearls or beads should be sticked on those, right? Now, how about if I give you the base structure like that, where you just come and stick the pearls, stick my diamonds or anything, but it's just like the way you design, right? So, which one will be easier? So you will say, you cannot say that is a structure where you can the shape of that jewelry, or where you want to stick those pearls. It's not like you cannot make with a no, you will take a say some square piece of that make that shape, make those grooves, and then stick it. But now how about if I give you everything ready made, you just need to stick the pearls into that, and that jewelry will be ready, right? Now, similarly, you just understand in the blockchain, some things are coming already with you, and if you don't use that and you need in your business, you need to build that. You need to make that. So that is what we do when we see which is the valid use case for blockchain. So such studies should happen. Such thought process should go into your business problem or into your use case, where we can look for the such options. Okay. So now here we are, I'll not go into more details. It's just like, you should think about when we are talking about business problem, the importance. Either it's a new market, are you receiving any reduction in cost? Are you managing risk? Means something should be viable, which will be a very good value add for your business problem, right? Now, similarly for the business network, who all will be the parties, what is there in your business network, is everyone wants, say example in supply chain, manufacturer, supplier, retailer, everyone, does they want, all of those want such type of change, because it's a big change, right? It's a big change, so everyone wants that or what, right? So that is what we do. Now, importance of trust. Yes, that's the most important thing. Do you need that in your business problem, or the problem which you are trying to solve? Or because of lack of trust, do you face any problem? What if I can bring trust using blockchain there? Will it be helpful? Right? So such things you should look forward for that. Like if, for example, with your experience, are you looking at saying that, if this information is available to all, it will bring transparency to my system, and that will elevate for sure your business. That will give you some upliftment there, right? So if such cases are there with you, then yes, you should think about the blockchain fitment there. Okay. Yeah. So it is just a small exercise that, what we have talked about. Now, I would like to say, please type in your responses to the chat. What do you think? These are good use cases, bad use cases, blockchain. Yeah, I could not include here fashion industry ones because we will be discussing that later. But I have just picked up few common issues, a few things which you can also tell me that is it really worth to solve it using blockchain technology. Uh, uh, can I check the chat window responses if people will share? I'm not sure where those messages will go. Will it come to the Zoom chat window?
It will come in the Zoom chat window.
Okay, so let's start then.
And
I would like to see,
I will
how.
just check the this thing. So if you can give me sometime, I'll check on the YouTube link also and let you know.
Yes, sure. Yeah. So, it's just like icebreaker because it's like only me and me speaking. Let's see how much you have understood so far and keep posting your questions. It's a good way because you are also investing time, I am also investing time. Let's make it more interactive so that we should get value out of it, right? Now, let's start with that first use case, dispute resolution. What do you think is a good blockchain use case or bad? On the sense, should we use blockchain? Yes or no in this case? Dispute resolution. It could be related to finance. Money is involved. It's not like two persons are fighting to each other and I want to resolve that. No. But uh, financial dispute, you can say that. Dispute resolution. Do you think that if there is a business where we are facing this problem, if we could have used blockchain, will it be more easier, or that in fact that situation itself will not come? What do you think? So keep posting if possible. I do not see any message yet on the chat window, so I'll wait for a minute. Let Dolly has let her check on the YouTube channel, and then I'll forward. Then these are the use cases which I was talking about. One is holiday tracking tool. Like, you can say that it could be personal holiday tracking tool, or it could be the corporate level holiday tracking tool. Do you think that blockchain is required here? Then know your customer. It is for the KYC team. Then food provenance in the sense food traceability. If I wanted to check from where my food is coming or how it is being prepared, right? So that packaged food from where in the supply chain where all it has been moved. So that part, then track your child. If your child is going for, say, different classes, schools, then goes to classes or say daycare, we would like to track your child. Is it a good blockchain use case or it is okay to solve with other technologies? Then electronic medical records, it's like your medical information. If you have that medical records which you are saving digitalized, but do you think that's a blockchain use case? Anyone on the Zoom would like to unmute and talk about it, or I'm okay with that also.
So there is one response on the YouTube.
Mhm.
Electronic medical records.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good blockchain use case, but yeah, it includes a personal information that can be marked. So that's a very good thing that you can do using blockchain. You know if hospitals are maintaining that thing, so every time you do not need to carry your records everywhere, and it will be there from your past history also, correct? And in that way, you need to have a business network means of the hospitals network, because every time you will not be going into the same hospital, right? So different hospitals should share that information or the diagnosed or the doctor reports on that network. That's a one thing. Second thing is personal information should not be shared on the blockchain. There are many regulations about that, the GDPR and other sensitive personal information and all. So such information you should mask. So if you think about it, if more people respond, then it's like every use case will give you more idea about the things which you should consider. For example, the dispute resolution, because it is I am talking about financial dispute resolution, then yes, a big yes that blockchain can help, because blockchain has started majorly in the financial industry, and now finance in any ways, money is involved in every industry, correct? So dispute, wherever dispute is there, it could be because of middlemen, it could be because of the clarity of the records, it could be because of the non-recorded transactions. So in such cases, blockchain is required. Holiday tracking tool, of course not, because it is not dealing with the money, or it is not that important. KYC, that know your customer, yes, it's a very good use case, because here again we are dealing with the identities, or say digital identities of the person. But it's not like every blockchain, no, every use case has a different requirement, so implementation might differ, but it's a valid use case. Food provenance, yes, because it's directly related to the health, which is very important. It deals with money also, right? And it deals with the brand image also. So yes, it's a very good use case. Track your child, it's an important use case, but it can be implemented with using other ways, because there are not multiple parties involved. It can be one IoT solution. It can be normal, where one system where others are just putting into the information. So blockchain is not required. Though we need trust and transparency, but in this case, there are not multiple business parties where they can do something with the system. No, because that will not be the valid blockchain use case. Okay, okay. So I do see some messages. Would you kindly talk about know your customer? Okay, so the one question I received, that can we talk about the KYC more? Yes, of course. That know your customer means what? So know your customer, if you have noticed that anytime, everywhere we go to the bank, either you go for a bank account opening, or you go for a loan, you go for any purpose, right? You need to do KYC. Every time you go with your documents, you submit your documents and then do. If you're going to the 10 banks, you are doing the same activity at the 10 times. Correct? So what blockchain suggests in this area is, why can't we have a centralized network where multiple parties involved? So generally when we do KYC, we do Aadhaar, in India at least, we used to take Aadhaar card, PAN card, so mostly government owned identities, right? Government provided identities we used to take. So in that business network, government can be one of the party. Then banks can be the multiple parties, and whoever is providing that different departments can be the part of the network, right? So it can be handled in a different way. If I take into the bank scenario, then I will say that all banks should be part of the one network, where my and there is one place where my identities are uploaded. Then it is like, my identities can be accessed from there, but because it is on blockchain, it will get recorded who all are accessing, who all are using it, or whether did I authenticate, right? So like that, one use case can be done. Other way is for KYC. Now, if I have applied for Aadhaar, then government has provided to me, right? So those departments can be linked together, and when my comes, then automatically it will be available on that network. I do not need to manually go and upload such documents. For first time activity, if I build a solution now, yes, of course, I need to do that. But for the newcomers, why not that government, different organizations can become part of one body, so that whatever they are doing, and as the end result, you can say that these are the documents which required for that particular person or for all the persons. And then a different network of the different banks can access this particular portal or the repository to access that KYC thing. So this will, what the benefit you will get is misusing of your personal information. Because if you go to 10 banks, like for an example, just in real life and very small example, we used to get a call for credit cards, right? And everyone get the call. Sometimes you are interested, they say, okay, ma'am, submit the documents, we will give them. And we submit our documents. Now, what happens sometimes, or at least it has happened with me also, I have submitted my document, but I have not received the card. Once I have given every information, all photo, copy of the required documents and everything, then later they say you are not eligible for this particular card, right? So it is like now you have shared your information, KYC, right? It was your personal information which can be misused for any purpose. You will not get your documents back. So there is a loophole in the system which you can fix through this blockchain, right? So that is what we talk about the KYC. Okay. So I hope I have given the answer of that questions.
So
To
he has a further question. Sam has a further question. If you
yeah,
could
I'm
just
just reading.
look
Yeah,
into the chat window.
yeah. So it's he's asking that could it be like a much enhanced Aadhaar system? As I mentioned before, as I mentioned, it if all the parties are involving, like who are providing you these identities, if they become the part of that system, that is what, whom they are providing, what documents they are collecting, and everything, right? But not like that much enhanced Aadhaar system. I will not say that because ultimately Aadhaar system, if you will increase, it will be more towards the way Aadhaar is the process of getting Aadhaar, right? But KYC, when I am talking about wherever I am submitting my documents. So it all depends where and for which purpose you want it to use. Okay, so I am talking about more uses of those document perspective where it can be misused, but much enhanced Aadhaar system will be like, where you are saying that how that Aadhaar is being generated or the documents, right? So those things is like one-time submissions, and mostly we go to the government offices only. But yes, if those our prerequisite on docs, in the sense, if I say uh, from my birth certificate to all my degrees and everything is on the blockchain, then wherever I go, I will simply authenticate to the other party and let's fetch those documents, whatever you require, and then use it with my permission and record it that whoever has been used for which purpose. So in this way, it will bring more and more, more and more transparency into the system, and you can stop misuses. Okay, so would you kindly also share your insight about know your customer use case in fashion business? So let's discuss this in a second half when we'll be discussing on use cases, so that we'll make it interactive. You tell what do you think, then we'll put our combinedly we will think and put suggestions and then see whether it will fit into it. Okay, so let's do it in the second half. That should be okay, right? Because I would like to get more inputs from your side in that way, so that we can discuss more, more on that. Right. So now, as I mentioned, the blockchain is challenging, but it brings many more opportunities. It's a revolutionary technology. So yes, when I say it revolutionary or others say revolutionary, it means it is changing many things or say everything. So you should decide, and it takes time. Now it has really evolved and somehow it is stable, but you should think about, how will you scale in future, and are you really getting benefit out of it? And yes, now it has been evolved as a stable. I must say it's a good time to start investing into the technology so that you will see results. Or if you fail also, you are already done in early in the market, right? So you should always start early. If it is fail fast. If you success, then you will grow faster, right? It is like that. Okay, so now when I was talking about, I started with blockchain, then I was mentioning that Bitcoin is one of the implementation of blockchain. Now, similarly, there are many. So blockchain is what standard blockchain means. It is shared, replicated. Permission is sometimes it is permissionless also, but it is shared and replicated ledger. Information is shared to all the participants. You can control the access of that information among the parties, that's okay, but and it is replicated. It comes consensus, provenance, immutability, finality. So that's the blockchain technology concept. Fine. Now, there are different varieties or the different implementations of blockchain, which is like few says it is permission, some are permissionless. Means you do not need to do login or say you do not need to prove your identity before accessing blockchain network. So there are many variants in the market, out of which one is Bitcoin, which majorly deals with the cryptocurrency part. That's a permissionless and the public blockchain. Public and private are also one of the category of the blockchain. Now I'll talk about Hyperledger, which is a Linux Foundation project. It is an umbrella. Okay, it is not a Hyperledger is not one of the blockchain implementation, but Hyperledger is a community which is like works like an umbrella for the different blockchain implementations, and it's a very popular community, and there are many implementations. I'll just get into that, and I'll just tell you it is open source, it is open standards, and it is open governance. In the sense, no single company is maintaining that. It's an open source community. So because of which there is no vendor lock-in. Means you will not get stuck saying that, oh, I have used that, how will I move out from this, right? IBM blockchain platform service, which we provide on IBM Cloud, is underpinned by Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so it means I'll come to that and this is the project which is backed up by many industries, in the sense IBM, Intel, SAP, you just name Accenture, everyone is contributing towards that. That itself shows that blockchain is important in the future, and many companies are investing now only with the small use cases, small POCs, proof of concepts. Once you start doing that, then yes, now anyways we are having many use cases in production also. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. It's an umbrella where we are having different frameworks. It is Hyperledger Burrow, Hyperledger Fabric, Indy, Iroha, Sawtooth. There are more. Okay, there are more, and it's increasing. Tools are the ones through which I can implement my solution in for these frameworks. Okay, so when I was using, I was talking about KYC, it is dealing with the digital identity. That time, Indy is useful. Hyperledger Indy is majorly designed for decentralized identity. It is designed in such a way where multiple parties comes and provide the identities, and then that gets stored on the blockchain. Now, but when we talk about Fabric, it is private and permissioned ledger where we are talking about the business dealing. Business dealing where provenance and immutability is the need. Okay, so I'll just talk about that. That Fabric is distributed ledger. Everyone has that ledger anyways, correct? And here we write smart contract, then we receive consensus. Confidentiality is like, because it's a permissioned one. So yes, you can put some confidential thing there, which will not be shared with others. So it has evolved so much that it is, now many use cases are in production also. So I'll be just talking about more in Fabric, the use cases or the examples which I will be sharing it out, or the demos, what IBM has done. Those are all based on Hyperledger Fabric. Because IBM is more towards the enterprises or the businesses where Fabric fits well. Correct. So I'll be talking about Fabric more. So we have Hyperledger Fabric is open source. Okay. By the way, it's a community based. You can get that code, and the instructions are given that how can you set up your network, right? But IBM blockchain platform is the service on IBM cloud, which gives you infrastructure is on demand. In the sense, infrastructure is ready for you on cloud. You just come, use that service and build your application use case. Whereas if you wanted to try it out plain vanilla Hyperledger, then you need to set up your network. You need to do all the connections and everything, means infrastructure level details you need to understand, and then build your use case. So that is what benefit we got it when the managed service we got it on any cloud or say IBM cloud. Okay. Right. So now let's move into the real-time use cases, no, where we are saying that we are having many active networks. Yeah. So here, many trade finance, Everledger, global trade, healthcare, insurance, government, identity, Walmart. So there are many which are already using. There are many for which we have done POC type thing. There are many which are yet to try it out. But mostly in each domain, we are having one or two use cases which are either has been gone into production or about to go in production. Okay, so these are the industry applications. You name the industry, blockchain will fit into it, either automotive, banking, as I mentioned before. Anyways, money is there in every business. So dispute will be there in every business. High level I'm talking about, right? So wherever such things are involved, and in any enterprise business, multiple parties are involved. Now you need to look forward for that, saying that what problem or whether my business is so facing that problem which I can solve with the help of blockchain. So here government, healthcare, insurance, media and entertainment, retail and travel and transport. Fashion industry fits into the retail or the consumer goods. Okay, so in this one we are saying that reinvent the product authenticity, operational excellence and the consumer experience. Right? So there are many more areas where we can work towards it. So these are more examples which we are sharing through this industry. I'll just pick the retail one, or you can, once you will see these examples in other industry, it will work as an head start for you to think about the use cases in your industry. That's why I am covering almost all the industries so that I may not be aware the challenge which fashion industry is facing because I am not working in that domain. But but if I'm talking about that, okay, financial is having the cross-border payments, cross-currency payments is the issue which we are solving through blockchain, and I'm very sure you will say that yeah, in fashion industry also there is an issue related to that, right? So there are these if we discuss multiple industries, it will help us to think more in our industry. We just understand high level other industry problems or so, and then we can relate, can it fit into in our industry, right? Okay, so I'll just give you example of two solutions, and I'll give you two quick demos, out of which one is built by me. So I'll talk about that before moving, implementation. Anyways, I'll not cover it in this session today, but yeah, but the first half I'll try to cover that. So first one which I'm trying to cover is the trade lanes, which is what it is improving global trade efficiency. When we talk about global trade, then who all are the business partners? That my screen shows that there are multiple shippers, then supply chain, traders, authorities, many financial or insurance services, right? And there are many custom systems, custom brokers, and again, everyone has to talk with everyone, not necessarily, but most of the cases. So that chain is now it has come on the trade lanes is the solution. It is not I'm saying that, but now it has become as a solution for you, which you can use it as an offering. Okay, so now what it does is it is a platform again for sharing shipping events, messages, documents. So where we are trying to achieve paperless trading. Okay, and it provides the visibility. Visibility means transparency. And when we say transparency, then it will bring trust. And if you can get a real-time updates, you will not be waiting from the other side that someone will come update and all, right? It will get up, you will get updates all real time. So what the benefit again? Because it's a real-time updates, it's bringing transparency, it will increase speed. So it means the system is becoming more efficient. And when efficiency has been increased, it means it is cost reduction through the through that system itself. And as I mentioned that it's we are trying to bring a paperless trade, so that cost reduction is also there. right? So like that, there are ways that we can think about how can you reduce cost in your business. That itself is a trigger point. That is there anything which you can think about for your system, right? So like that, there are many cases or things where you should think about the use cases in your industry. So these ideas or these examples will help you as an eye opener. It's just a head start, nothing else. Correct? Now, next one is our food trust. So that is what supply chain transparency. So food trust is the solution designed by IBM for the food supply chain, in the sense for Walmart or so. Correct. Now, as you see that when we process the food or we make the food, what happens is the food items or the raw material from farm to go to the processor to distributor, distributor to retailer. It's just an example I'm taking. And each and every step, if you do something wrong, then what can be the, what, how it will be harmful for the end user community or for the business, everything. So, for example, from farm to processor, if someone tampers it, right, and then someone substitute the material, just an in case, then it will no if it goes to the further chain, again it will come to the economic law, because what you want to get at this end product you will not get. Then processor to distributor, there are some perishable items or some items where we see that it should go in this time with this temperature, something like that. Correct? Because and it should be packaged properly. In case of food, it is like that. Then it should not be contaminated. The idea here is it should not be contaminated. If it gets, then it becomes a legal case. From distributor to retailer, again, same thing. That expiry date, we should think. They should think about it. The way they are maintaining hygiene, right? So all such things. So if we are looking for such factors, then it at the end the entire chain will be become our value chain, because each and every step we are gaining trust, transparency in turn will bring money. Correct. So like that, it is like we are saying there are ways that how are we tracing the transparency. There are few things which you might say that how will you identify that. Yeah, there are few areas which you really cannot identify. But yes, if you fill in the wrong information, you will get the wrong information. Ultimately, it's a software. So, so we are just there. Then innovation happens at that level, that we should not allow to put in the wrong information into the system itself. So there are ways. I'm just simply talking about it. So when you are thinking about some problem to solve, it will bring some another opportunity in hand also, where you can do something more. So it's like stairs, it's like steps. You take one step, two step, three step, then final product will be out. Right? That's why whenever technology comes in, we should start investing in early. We should understand it, we should think about it, and then we will be no pioneer in that era. So the what benefits it brings is it reduce impact of food recalls. I believe that use case is known by almost all now. That in Walmart it happened with some product that they had to recall it because it was contaminated, and whoever was consuming it, they were getting some medical health problems. So in that way, that time blockchain was not there. Now, how difficult you can think of it was that to recall the food item, product recall. So from retailer, distributor, processor, it's very difficult, right? Now, with the help of blockchain, it is easy. You can find out the history. Okay, so that's for the food trust. Now, and that is for the supply chain transparency. I'll just show you the demo, quick demo, not thing one, where I'm just telling you how those people has been using it. And similar same thing can fit into your fashion industry also. Now, for example, this is the product which is there in the market, and on the box they are having this barcode. Okay, so now it is bringing. It is bringing supply chain transparency for the end user. This is the use case what I'm trying to show to you. Okay. Now think about your item here. You can think about for any apparel or so. For example, if I buy online, say shoes, I bought a shoe pair for me. Then what did I do? Every box has these things. If I scan that, then if blockchain is implemented, I can really track from where it all came, from where it got manufactured, and then it will give me trust that I bought a original product or I bought a good product. It is not no be in between of the chain. It is not counterfeit, right? So similarly, there are many things which can we can think of. Counterfeiting is one of the thing which you can think of, but still it can vary in terms of implementation. That what do you want to show to the end user? Right? We will discuss on that. So this one that the user comes and then scans this QR code, they got this number, and then once they got this number, then what they do, it gets queried to the blockchain network, and then what user will get that this was it's written in different language, but what was the date of the production. Okay, and when we click on it, then they will got to know from where the raw material came in, from which art form it came in, how did they process, right? And how what was the quality control in between they did. So everything they talk about and how this transferred to this at the final chain. How did they store it, right? So everything is coming. So from where it is not like they are simply moving it, just putting the data. No, it is not like that, right? So it is not like that, but it all depends what do you want to show, what information is required for end user. For example, if I am buying a shoe, I do not mind it saying that if it comes from, say, ABC Courier Service. It doesn't matter for me. Ultimately, it's a courier service. They didn't do anything with my parcel, right? So I will not show that information. So you should think about that what information is useful for the end consumer, which information the end user will consume. But yes, but there are there can be a different problem where I say that courier information is also important. If I am transferring, say, a very delicate item, then it could be the case that how they are handling the item. Correct? So there are many things involved when you think about a use case. So once we start, then slowly we get ideas. We start with the problem. So brainstorming is the thing, like from where we get different ideas, we get different things, and then we do. Right? So this is what the food trust demo. Now there is a question here from Sam. Sorry, what I did. Okay, so there was a question. This Sam is asking, would you kindly talk about? No, sorry, very sorry. Does it need have product serial number in the QR code? So it all depends. How will you track? You should have some unique identity, right? So these all are implementation details. So when you design a system, then yes, see, if serial number is the thing in QR code through which you can identify, or is it that identifier you are using in your blockchain? Or is the different identifier, different identity you are giving when you are storing your asset into the blockchain? So it should have that serial number, that identifier, not the product serial number. Correct? So that depends on the implementation front. How are you implementing that? Or can if we can use the same serial number in the blockchain also as a product serial number, then yes, we'll use that product serial number and then use that. But it depends, in your blockchain from where all items are coming in. If it is coming from different thing, then different parties or not different parties, but say different manufacturing plants, then the serial number are very much well defined that it will not be same, then that's okay. But if there are chances and we are not very sure, then let's create a new identity for new identifier when we are creating that asset in the blockchain. right? First time in anyways, you have to have first entry into the blockchain, right? And whenever we are creating any asset in the blockchain, then that time you should create first identity. Means some unique number you need to give. Item number one should be one, right? How will you identify otherwise? Correct? So this is what we can handle at the implementation level. Okay. Now I would like to give one more demo. We'll see how it will fit in. But this one was built by me. It was for the crowdfunding event. So we came up with an idea where no, how why not crowdfunding the problems? Because in general we do see there are many crowdfunding platforms, right? But most of the cases you do not know. Sometimes it is fake. Sometimes money went where goes we do not know, we cannot see, they don't provide any transparency there, it's just like you give money and it is gone, it is like that. Sometimes money gets misused also, and we do not know whether part of it has been used or not at all is being used or fully used, right? So there are it means there is a way, means the system has some problem here, trust is required, then only I will donate next time, right? So keeping that in mind, we just build a small prototype for the crowdfunding where money is involved, and this one is like the solution is open sourced here. And when we did that, this we just, because we are making it open source, we cannot target any very specific areas. That's why we just did that response to increase clean cover. Okay, so it's very small thing. What we are doing here is in this small POC or say small use case, this is was the goal we created. How much has been raised and for how many days it will be active. Correct. Now you come here and donate, we will be showing who all has donate and how much, but and then donate, after you donate that amount is changing at the runtime, everything is getting recorded into the blockchain. Now at this moment you can say that how will I be knowing that behind the scenes blockchain is using, because from the seeing the solution it is same the way I do access other application, right? Yeah, that is true. And for end user, doesn't matter behind the scenes, either you are using normal database, normal storage, or you are using blockchain. But business has the difference that, where you can see. For end user, nothing, no much difference is there. But yeah, in the crowdfunding event, if someone can show me, how that funds are being utilized, then also it's okay. But how will I trust? If they say this is blockchain enabled and whatever is being happening, it's immutable, so I have to trust, and that will increase some confidence in me, saying that no, if they are saying a blockchain is being used, yes, it is right. So automatically confidence gets up, and then you will be interested or inclined towards the next participation, next donation or something like that, right? So that part you can do. So I'll just run this quick video where I'm just showing that, very small POC. These are like how many have been supported so far. Now let's donate more. When we donate more, automatically that $600 has become 800. Supporters list is showing how much has been donated, right? So like that. So it's like this one is showing the funds related to money. Previous example was showing related to provenance. This one is more towards your provenance and immutability. Financial transactions we are tracking. This use case can be enhanced if I want to show funds utilization further, right? So here, this is what one more small demo. This done. This one I'll skip because it's like, no, we cannot. But here I'll just tell you, when we are building this use case, then one smart contract means business logic is written behind the scene, which is deployed on my network, which talks about that how transaction happens. Means when I am donating money, what should happen? That 600 will become should become 800, and if date is changing, date should be changed, or supporters list should show the supporter or the donator name. It should get added, right? This all logic has been written as a smart contract. And yeah, this is the front end which I have designed. Let's call it as a client application. And then client application talks to blockchain platform. I'll not touch upon that, but yeah, I'll just give that part. It talks with the help of SDKs. So there are ways to do that. So let's not go. If we are really doing any implementation and you need help, so I have one session on uploaded on YouTube, which talks about the which I have taken for one of the faculties across all India universities. Uh, for the hands-on session on the blockchain. So I have talked about this crowdfunding use case there. YouTube recording is there. So which will be helpful for you how to progress further, what all parts we should consider when we are implementing a solution or so. Okay. So
Okay, if you can please type this in the
I will do. I will.
chat window, people can
Yeah, I'll do
save
that.
it for.
Sure, I will do that. Yeah, I'll share this link. Yeah. Okay. So this is what the quick introduction of the blockchain, how you should implement and all. Now, anyways, for any people, it's not about any industry. Now, if you are working in any industry, I work in my industry, everyone needs some start point from where we should look at, right? From where to start with. For example, you are for fashion industries, and if you want to use technologies, for a first step, you need help. You need hand holding. You need some information, right? Similarly, if I am as a software developer, I do work in software and all. But if someone will ask me, tell me how to do this in fashion industry, what will I do? I will reach out for some help because, of course, I do not have that domain expertise, right? So, keeping that in mind, IBM developer content is the good point for the technology perspective, okay, where we are having different types of material published, code patterns, tutorials, and all. If you are using any technology, you just go there and search. You just go there and search. Like, for example, you will find many of the blockchain small solutions are done by me. That could you may find it helpful no, for your hackathon, for your ideation purpose, for implementation purpose. So it may help. So this is just like, patterns we are working. You name the technology, it is there. AI, AR, IoT, blockchain, any other microservices, whatever you wanted to try it out, right? You think about the ideas, then we will fit the technologies in, right? So like that. So once you go, this is the dashboard where you can access. You just go and search. It will be like this visible. If you people want, I can give you a demo about it, but yeah, you can do. So when we are accessing it, then it's like, code patterns will give you code also. We provide open source code, which is available for you, which you can use as is. You change it, you enhance it, whatever you wanted to do, you do it. And we are providing instructions, which has the readme, means how to do. So you just follow that. But yes, we for our code patterns, deployment platform is IBM Cloud. So if you are having that thing, then yes, you can continue with that. But otherwise, you may find out your way to deploy. But code and technology, how to use the technology and all, it's already there, right? So this is what quickly I wanted to share before discussing on more use cases. Yeah, the next is my use cases. So I'll pause here, take questions, and how was it? Or other than use cases, if you people think that, in the next session, what will be the useful thing which you would like to hear, or if I can cover, I'm open for that. Hope so far it was useful. So let's, if there is any question, please post that. So it is 12:50. Dolly, to which shall we take a break now, or how it is?
there was a raised hand. I am just asking them to really type it in the chat window so that they can pose the question, or they can ask you, because it's a break now, so we can ask them to really ask the question.
Sure.
Swati, would you like to ask a question?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I don't have any questions right now because I'm unable to see how this fits into the things that we are trying to build here. So no questions today from my side. Thank you.
Swati, you were asking about
Mm-hmm.
how do you implement AI to improve your supply chain related issues. Now, this is
Mm-hmm.
something that the blockchain basically serves. I think we, in the second half of the session, we will be discussing
Mm-hmm.
some of the use cases specific to the fashion industry. Right now,
Yeah.
talking about this thing, then that will get covered there.
Yeah. So maybe when I understand it better, I might have some questions then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, Sam, would you like to ask a question? You,
I have the same question, and I'm very much interested. It's very it has been very useful, and I'm looking forward to the next session. And most of my questions are going to be about fashion, and that's where I'm really looking forward to how do we implement IBM Cloud and AI and blockchain, the whole system with what I'm trying to do, which is make to measurement fashion.
okay. So I think then we'll take 5-10 minutes break, and we'll resume in 5 minutes. Before that, Karamveer, you have any question on blockchain? Then I can unmute you. Yeah. S- So I have asked you to unmute yourself. You can.
Right, right. Yeah, I have just typed the question. So my question is that I have been working on some independent type of kernel. So that is not depending on the existing APIs or existing operating system or something like that. But that is something related to the creator's vision, which includes, yeah, also the animation part and the fashion technology. So I want to deploy only IBM based services because it allows certain heterogeneous components. तो मैं ये चाह रहा हूँ कि ये जैसे BSD में हम देखते हैं कि BSD की पोर्टिंग iOS और ये macOS में हुई है, तो वैसे ही मैं कुछ चाहता हूँ कि एक स्ट्रेटेजिक अलायंस के जरिए कुछ ऐसा हो सकता है कि IBM कुछ हम जैसे माइक्रो स्टार्टअप्स को अलाउ कर सकती है कि हम उनकी चीज को एक यूज कर पाए और एक मॉडल तैयार कर पाए जिसमें क्रिएटर्स भी अच्छा खुल के काम करें, क्योंकि हम लोग ठीक है जो कर रहे हैं टेक्नोलॉजी से जीसीसी लाइसेंस के थ्रू हम वो इंक्लूड कर रहे हैं, बट हमें कुछ लिमिटेशंस देखने को मिलती है जो GNU या जीसीसी लाइसेंस की है, जो हम बिल्कुल खुल के उसमें इंक्लूड नहीं कर पा रहे, तो हम सर्टेन लिमिटेशंस देख रहे हैं. सो वी वांट कि हम आईबीएम की चीज एक अच्छी तरह से एक एथिकली उसको हम लोग इंक्लूड कर पाए अपने एक सिस्टम पे, जो क्रिएटर्स के लिए खास करके एक अच्छा एक साबित हो, ऐसा कुछ. जैसे AMD राइजन के आप देखते हो प्रोसेसर वो EC2 यूज करता है, तो हम आपकी चीज को हम बेस लेवल पे यूज करना चाहते हैं. ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है. थैंक यू.
Shikha, could you understand the question, or do you want me to translate it?
No, I understood. That's not a problem. Uh, okay, so I understand in such a way that you are looking for some solution at the not at the technology, but at the infrastructure level. If you can get something, or IBM
Exactly.
cloud
Right.
services or so, right?
Like there is a platform as a structure, na? Not as a SaaS
Yes.
based.
Yeah, I
So
understood. Yeah, I yes, you are
something like
talking about. Yeah. So I think um, we need to connect further on that as a separate channel. I think Karan is there in the call, then he can take this question up so
right.
that we can
ठीक
discuss
है.
separately this part because this is altogether different thing which we need to look at, right? But yes, out of the box, IBM does not have any sandbox type of environment where we say
Mhm.
that you come here and try it out your things free of cost. As a sandbox, we don't have, but yes, we
Mhm.
should have something already or should be something should be there which can fulfill your requirements with the whatever cost it comes or what the costing part
Right.
and all it will be taken care later,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Exactly.
we have teams special teams which connects with the startups, and we discuss the problems with them. Sometimes the startups are looking like you said that we are looking, you are doing your work, you just need some infrastructure level help or technological help, right? In
Right. Right.
addition to that, we do connect with startups. We do discuss their problems, and then sometimes we collaboratively or we only do POC for their problems with the latest technologies if it is helpful. It will not be the full-fledged solution for startups, but yes, we can just tell you that this technology helps enhancements and fulfillment of your requirement is what you can take it further, but we can just start is to help you to start with. So we have
Right.
that channel established. So I'll suggest Karan, you can take it up separately, connect it, and then see what's the next step and how can we help here.
Sure. I will coordinate with Miss Dolly, ma'am. So that will be really helpful.
So
True.
So I'll just add to that because Karan has already set up a channel especially for this hackathon, and that's going to be the use cases for the fashion tech is going to be placed there. So you could actually have the code patterns, whatever AI based code patterns are already available in that fashion tech area, in which those code patterns will be available. That is for the AI. I am not very sure whether Karan was saying that on after the blockchain this thing we will put the blockchain related code patterns also. So that was the this thing. There is a special login which has been created and a special user area which has been created for the hackathon for all the participants. So that's something that we will be giving an overview, and that would be available to all the users for about a year with no charge, except for blockchain, which is a usable. I mean, there is a cost attached to it. So if somebody wants to really use Hyperledger, then there is a cost attached to it. But otherwise, all the other tools, the AI and the cloud, will be available. To the best of my knowledge, I think that is what is the setup. Once we get into the hackathon phase, we will be discussing more, and Karan will be taking a session on that later on.
Right, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you so much
Shikha. And
for
yeah,
answering my question.
I don't think there are any other question in this session. So we will pause for about 5-10 minutes. In the meantime, I will just request Shikha ji to change the screen so that I can, I mean, stop the share so that I can get on to the break session where we will just be discussing a few things while.
Sure. Yeah, I
Right.
did that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm just taking the participants through the screen share on the main hackathon. Just I will spend 5 minutes on this, and then we will resume our next session. So, hack fashion tech aiming to redefine of November and actually resume it after Diwali time. So we had kept 2 days as a break on 14th and 15th, but it looks like everybody wants it to be extended so that we can have this thing. So we are thinking of really extending the 2-3 sessions after the Diwali. So just to give you an idea why we are doing this hackathon, why we are doing this entire exercise of bootcamp followed by the hackathon and then showcasing the sustainable fashion products, is that fashion industry is a $2.2 trillion industry, and it is also one of the most polluting industry. So it has some very major negative environmental impact. uh, so we need to really do something about it. We need to be alarmed and really look at it as how we can improve the scenario. So while the brands are trying to take some efforts, but there is a long way to go. So sustainable and digital technologies bring a new dimension to the future of sustainable fashion. And one of the themes of this hackathon and the entire exercise that we are doing is to really understand some of these dimensions and the technologies behind it which can support. Uh, so, because you need to understand not only the sustainable fashion, but also the technology applications, especially in the context of future of fashion. So, whole objective is to develop a sustainable fashion agenda with the help of technology solutions. So there is a definitive need for the fashion industry to adopt sustainable technologies and digital technologies, which can be done by fashion industries to innovate in the application of technology and technology innovators to apply their innovation in the fashion industry. So, what we are trying to do through this exercise is to raise the awareness and bring technologists and the fashion designers, fashion professionals on one platform. It's a slow process because everybody has their own priorities, but this is the first step that we are taking to really ensure that we don't have the kind of problems that most of the fashion industry, 40% of the waste is generated by the fashion industry, which is a huge amount. And also the water consumption for the fabrics, right from the production to the dyeing to the this thing, in the current context is creates a huge negative environmental impact. So coming to the this thing, why we are doing it right now? We are doing it right now because there is an international virtual exhibition happening called Handloom Festival by World Trade Center Mumbai, and I Am Khadi is one of the co-organizer. I Am Khadi is also a co-organizer of this event, which is the Fashion Summit and the hackathon. So the Handloom Expo is hosted on worldtradeexpo.org, and the exhibitors are virtually exhibiting their products, which are essentially natural fibers and done through the handloom weaving process. Buyers are there are listed buyers which are actually interacting with these exhibitors, and there is an opportunity for matchmaking through B2B meetings. Anyone can just log in and register as a visitor, and see the products and maybe order. So there is a B2B as well as a B2B2C uh, kind of uh, interaction that can happen on that on the platform. So coming back to our Hack at Fashion Tech, we are doing webinars, we are doing a boot camp, and we are doing a Fashion Tech hackathon. The webinars are mostly on design, fashion, technology, and sustainability. And we've had, this is the seventh session as a part of the boot camp, but we also had a couple of workshops and case studies on various subjects. Two technology sessions, extensive technology sessions on AI in fashion and blockchain, which is an ongoing one today. We also plan to really have online meetups where we could interact, and there is a Slack channel which is being created for that purpose. And after the boot camp, all the interaction will be on the Slack channel. The Fashion Tech Hackathon has three major uh, themes. One is the sustainable fashion, where you could develop any fashion garment using the sustainable either the product, or you could have a reduction in terms of the environmental impact by improving the process or looking at sustainable processes, or it could be to improve the access to the uh, people who have who are less privileged in terms of the cost, in terms of the people who are handicapped, or so on and so forth. Wearables is another category in which we are looking forward that participants create wearables which embed technology into it. So it could be any element of the fashion. It could be 3D printed, or it could be a fashion element which is embedded into the garment itself to monitor, let's say, heart rate, or if you're doing yoga, to really correct your posture, and all kinds of applications are encouraged to be developed in this area. So we are looking at the third area is the web and mobile apps to improve the productivity. And you can go down to the fashiontech.smartedge.work to really know more about all these themes. In short, three areas: sustainable fashion, wearable fashion, and web mobile apps. The mobile apps are mostly related to the distribution, inventory management, and the area of supply chain. And in the supply chain area, blockchain is one of the major areas that we are going to look at, and we'll discuss this a little more. These are our partners. IBM has been our partner from the day one, and the JD Institute of Fashion Technology is our academic partner. Paytm has extended support to provide free payment gateway integration to all the people who are participating in the bootcamp. So you need to, once you really get into the hackathon phase, you can actually get a access code link. And we have a planned session on 13th, but you need to really tell me whether you would like to really come on 13th, or because it's Diwali, you like me to reschedule this thing. So probably in the chat window, you can just type in whether you want an extension, or whether you would like to have this session on 13th. Paytm Build for India, Saurabh would be coming on 13th. That's as per planned schedule, and he will be spending some time and explaining what the initiative is all about and how we could make the best out of it. AIC Artec is our innovation support partner, and we are planning to have the extension of this program through a formal accelerator with them. We have our distribution partner, or our community partners in the developer Google developer group, IoT NCR. Facebook developer group, and Women Who Code group. So this is a snapshot of all the uh, scheduled programs, which include today's session and the 13th session. So just to give an idea about what all we have covered till now, we've had a workshop on e-textiles. All these uh, programs were recorded and they would be made available to anybody who would like to have a view of it through the YouTube channel. Some snapshots. Then we had a bootcamp session by IBM on AI in fashion. And we also had a panel discussion with Akshara Dalal from JD Institute of Fashion Technology. This was one of the very well visited. We had over 600 participants on the Facebook live session. And so we had one-on-one interaction with some of the participants who had some queries. So I and Yash actually took a session on 6th of November. We had a very interesting session on FashionTech workshop, which actually described what are the kind of technologies in the fashion industry and how it could be used. This program was very well attended, both on the YouTube as well as on the I'm sorry, I had a power fluctuation. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm so sorry about this thing. There was a power glitch and I got disconnected.
No problem.
So the Fashion Tech workshop actually explained all the fashion related technologies, both from the fashion tech area as well as from the technology adoption in the fashion industry. A very interesting session. The recording is available if somebody wants to have a look at it. And It's, it's on the YouTube channel of SmartEdge Fashion Tech. I will share the link. Then we had a very interesting session on fashion e-retail, which was basically by Samiksha Bajaj. She's a celebrated fashion designer, as well as she's the first woman entrepreneur to develop a fashion tech product which has gone global. She won award for her work. She's from New York. She's done her fashion designing from New York and is practicing. She's based out of Gurgaon. She had a very interesting session on in terms of what is the kind of product for that they have developed on 3D modeling of defining the fashion. Taking the measurements at the retail outlet, and also being able to really kind of create garments which are completely customized to the requirements of the individual and ship it in 48 hours. Yesterday, we had a design workshop from Sanjeevani Goyal, who's a fashion faculty from JD Institute of Fashion Technology. And she had covered all the kind of fashion related work that you can do on sustainable fabrics, and how you could really bring in sustainable fashion into the using the Indian traditional methods of bandhani, of tie and dye, and some of the other design components, and also showcased how a sustainable garment can be made fashionable. And there was a showcase of a actual live workshop, through a actual live workshop, as well as through a demo of the product, the final product. Today we are having a session with Shikha Maheshwari, who's a technical solutions architect at IBM. And I will, in the next session, talk with her more on how we could really apply it in the fashion industry through certain use cases, which I will be prompting, and then she can give her overview as to how blockchain is used in those cases. The net result is going to be culminated through the hackathon, where we talk about all these four marketing distribution challenge, supply chain and value chain problems, and sustainability issues in terms of this thing. Anybody who still has not registered for the hackathon, please do so at the given link. As I said, that there are three major themes: sustainable fashion, wearable fashion, and mobile and web apps. So for any further details, you are free to contact me at this email ID, and my phone number is listed. Yash Arya, other co-founder of SmartEdge and this particular initiative, Yash Arya at imkhadi.org. And you can also visit fashiontech.smartedge.work and leave any comments if you want to. Thank you. So now we will actually, Shikha, would you want to like to have a few more minutes before we restart, or can we go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen.
So you have a screen share. I also have a screen share. So I'm giving a multiple screen share option so that we can both share our screens, or I can speak extempore. That is not a problem in case you have a problem.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, this is coming okay. I am just also trying to see if we can do a side-by-side
Sure.
screen share.
Yeah.
I think that's not coming through. So I think you better take the screen share. I'll just introduce the three major areas, and then we can possibly move to your slides. So three major areas of blockchain in fashion industry, applications of blockchain in the fashion industry, as per my experiences, in terms of the supply chain management and looking at the issues in the supply chain issues, and the authenticity in terms of the intellectual property as to what is genuinely a product, what it claims to be. For example, whether it is an organic product or not, that means it's produced by organic fiber, or in terms of another very interesting use case in the fashion industry is in terms of the men's sneakers. Or sneakers is an item which is an expensive item, especially in the men's category, and the authenticity of the whether it is the leather, or authenticity of the brand, or the authenticity of the product price, and things like what you had discussed in the previous session about food traceability. The traceability to verify the authenticity of the product, especially if it is an authentic brand, because you have too many fakes actually in the industry. So that's one area in which blockchain has seen some a very good adoption. And fabric design and manufacturing, especially in terms of smart fabrics and wearable technology, which benefits both consumers and producers, are the area. So what I would suggest that we go one by one through these three areas, and we can talk about it and see how we can. So supply chain is an area where Shikha, if you would like to, because one of the areas that, as you had mentioned in the previous session, blockchain has a great applicability in terms of the supply chain. And supply chain in the fashion industry actually helps to organize people, activity, and information to move the fashion products from the producer to consumer. And there's a very big supply chain network that actually happens in the whole process. And also by the internet proliferation and the artificial intelligence, uh, there is a definitive need to have a decentralized, distributed, and public ledger using blockchain. So, could you throw a little light in terms of what are the kind of blockchain pieces of this thing that really help you to develop a solution around this area that is in the
Yeah.
supply chain
Yeah.
management?
Sure. Yeah. So I'll just move my slide.
So I'll stop sharing my screen if you need. Yeah, I will stop my share. You can.
I think my screen is the only shared one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's move to the supply chain one. I just wanted to bring one more point before that, that benefits of using blockchain, like why you are looking for blockchain in your industry, in the fashion industry, right? So I have just when I was just thinking about it, that what are the factors that blockchain is bringing on the table, and then you can see that okay, how it can be helpful, right? So I just bits and pieces I have covered. So I thought I'll just recap so that we'll be like in the phase that yeah, we have understood the blockchain, that basic one. Right. So again, I am just repeating, it increases the efficiency and accounting for the every consumer transactions, because it's like it's a logs of the transactions, so you can do that. It increases the digital shopping experience for both consumers and brands. As Dolly said that we can think of in case of supply chain itself, right? It will be good for that we can look for the brand one, like because of pandemic everything is online. Now when I get the online product, I should be very sure I got the original product, right? So that makes the difference. Similarly, helps in provenance, is truly decentralized, so no one can say that no, it is not right what you are saying, type no dispute, no middleman, no dispute, nothing related to that. Whatever is there on blockchain, it is there on blockchain. And similarly, then again, trust, transparency increases capacity and the reliability. Okay, so let's move it to the our. I'll just go to the supply chain traceability. I have noted. I thought about some more use cases here. Let's start with the supply chain traceability. So when we are saying supply chain traceability, again, you should think about your business network. There are many parties which are there: manufacturer, supplier, distributor, retail, and shipper. So there are many things which you can part of it, right? If for any product I can show the entire traceability, that how my product was originated. It's not only that it's not only Amazon courier facility which I'm tracking it out here, that when it was shipped, it was dispatched and all. No, I want to check how my product was originated, which material it has been used. Then it's very game changer. Okay, it will be very good for the large and small businesses, both of them. It applies, and especially for small businesses, it will bring that it will bring that trust factor, because then only small will become big, right? So it is like that. And what not it includes, it all depends what all you want it to include. It can include authenticity of material, as I mentioned when I was showing food trust example, right? So I was telling, you should see what consumer or what customer wants to see, that accordingly you show. For different customers, different type of customers, or for different stakeholders, you can show different information. For example, I am the end user of the product, right? I just wanted to know whether it is made up of which material. Now material is procured from where, whether it is means original and all. I may not understand, or I may not require that information, correct? So it all customization in your solution. But do you have the traceability mechanism? That's the part. That's a major thing. It, you can include it for authenticity of materials, then journey from manufacturer to wholesaler. Now it's not, it doesn't include that money part as of now, in the sense, now manufacturer is selling for say x rupees, then wholesaler comes to 2x, then suppliers 3x, distributor 4x. So that part, if people are not ready to share on the network, don't share that information. Ultimately you are solving another problem for the end user, because manufacturer wholesaler will not be comfortable sharing their margins on the public network, or say, or with all the parties, right? So they will not be comfortable. So accordingly you need to think about, if it is not required, let's not do that, but what we are gaining at the end, right? So suppliers to distributor, retailers, in fact it records the ownership once a product has been purchased. In the sense, if I have purchased that item, then as an owner of that product, first of all, it is for a big thing. not very small things, but yeah, it's for, I'm talking about some big products or type that. But yes, authenticity can be checked through the traceability. That is one thing that you can trace to the origin material. Another traceability, you can just say that from where it came, like the way we ship, and it came through Amazon or so. But for that, blockchain is required if there is a trust required. As of now, we don't bother about it because we are not buying diamonds from the Amazon, right? If it is related to Amazon or something like that, then yeah, that matters. Correct. Now we have one case study for Burberry in this area, which has done recently. They did some proof of concept type thing with IBM. What they have done is, now with their tag there is a QR code, because you need to get some or you, there is a way that you can query to the system, right? So if you will query to the system, I means somewhere it should be triggered that you are asking to that system that tell me the history of this product, right? So that's what nothing is like. We are people are doing using QR code these days. You will scan that QR code, and then QR code internally will trigger the mechanism on the blockchain, and it will give you the entire history. So in this history, what you want to show, again, Burberry is doing did POC, the project called Voyage, and it is like, they have rolled out to some stores to see whether people are really interested to know that. So what they are showing up to the material details, authenticity of the material. When we are saying, I may not have the right examples, you may you can help in that way. But if I just say if it is silk or not silk, if it is say any material, then yeah, it is silk, it is coming from that particular purpose, right, from particular place. So what we are saying while selling can be verified through that traceability, through that provenance, through that history which is recorded on blockchain, right? Now if there is any problem, it can be addressed in real time. Then it is that it becomes this problem what I am targeting, when item is in on the way, in the sense manufacturer to wholesaler to supplier distributor, when somewhere in the between there is any problem, then can be tracked at the real time, because wherever it is updating the status in the blockchain, right? This particular problem can be handled alone single-handedly with the blockchain. It can be handled with the help of IoT also. It can be handled or enhanced with the help of AI also. So for any solution, it's not necessarily only blockchain or only AI or only IoT. No, we can do mix and match of the technology. So you think about the problem areas. You think, how can we increase the margins? How can we increase the business, right? So think about the problems areas. Technology are there to fit into it. You will get some ideas to solve that problem. No, and the next benefit what we get it here is visibility and the collaboration work hand in hand. Means now in because of this blockchain network, I am collaborating with multiple parties, right? When I am collaborating with multiple parties, and whatever is happening on the business is with everyone, it is on the ledger, which increases efficiency. So there is no chance of mismanaged inventory. You cannot say that that package got lost, or you cannot say that it was not reached to me and all. No, that cannot happen. But again, everything is managed with that RFID tag. If it is a big product or packaged inside a container type thing, right, then it's managed with the RFID tag. If someone tampers that also, it means it will not be related details will not come here. So that time only you can find out that this particular tag is missing. So at which place it gets mixed and all, that also you can find out again. And it provides the insights of the value chain. As I mentioned, that it becomes supply chain traceability is really a value chain, because in each and every step it is creating trust, and who efficiency is being increased, and indirectly it will support the sustainability practices. So like that, sometimes that question comes, who made my product, or what is that actually from where it was built or it was made, correct? So tag, if you change the tag, you can know that information will not be, or if tag is not there, you will not find that information. You need that start point. But again, there is a way that how can you build that QR code into that item. That's again a new thing, or innovation thing which you can think about it. Like for example, that Everledger, right? Everledger is the one of the blockchain implementation, which well, it's a company which uses blockchain implementation to track the diamonds, right? So once, when they do track the diamonds, and again, because diamond is a very high value product, correct? So when we started with blockchain, we were looking for the very high value blockchain, because high value item will get more return if you are really tracking. It's not like that normal grocery items you will not track through blockchain, right? But it all depends how much business it is impacting. On that basis, you can take a call whether blockchain is really required. So in this supply chain area, uh, being an end user, as a customer, I will be interested, and authenticity of the material, authenticity of the brand. Because when you shop online, or you should go, you sometimes you get a doubt, or there are cases where you say that people are selling non-original brands, right? It is very similar to original things, but it damaged the reputation of the brand. So you should be, such cases are there where you can no, you can save your reputation of your brand. You can stop the damage beforehand. Something happens, before that only you can handle that part. So like that, blockchain can be used in a supply chain. You need to think about it. Like for example, I'll just continue. A cross-border payment, right? It generally it gets delayed or something like that. Sometimes, if that trust factor comes in that cross-border, means if you are exporting your product, so generally, if the product comes, our experiences says what, if a product is coming from somewhere outside, yeah, we generally tend to believe it is original. But if it goes out of India, then, but there are, we have seen cases, or it comes from any other country, sometimes those are fake, right? So other than material, you can check it out whether it is original or not. So brand will share what information to show whether it is really original, or it is produced by that brand. So related information should be available in that traceability, in that supply chain management, which customers and consumers can see and rely, that saying that yeah, it is the original product. So like that, that supply chain traceability will be helpful.
So the next area that actually gives a lot of impact in terms of this thing is how can we move the stocks faster, which brings in speed and not only authenticity but also speed. So the blockchain network, you can ensure verifying the authenticity of the supplied fashion goods, and the moment it arrives at the destination, you can actually know of its arrival, and the middleman can be either removed, or the goods can be supplied at a faster time frame, improving the efficiency and the quality of goods. Now, how that is done through blockchain, if you could spare some time in terms of really talking in terms of improving the supply chain for the fashion industry, it would help. How blockchain is actually doing that, or what is the kind of technology inputs?
You mean so for the fast fashion, or the how to faster, upgrade that thing?
No, see, when you are supplying any material, it's a lot of information that actually travels with it. Now, once you are using a blockchain network, which is a closed network between the supplier and the manufacturer, and the actual customer. So you have a long value chain, a long supply chain. So the traceable, the tracking of that, where that particular material is, you can use the blockchain to really find exactly where the item is and how soon can you expect it. How does blockchain really handle that? So
Okay.
you touched upon the smart contracts. I'm referring to the smart contracts. How do you implement these smart contracts? Because in the fashion industry, fashion is something that actually goes off in 3 months' time. The product, if it is not shipped right and if it is not delivered at the right time, it loses its value. So how does blockchain really overcome that solution? If you could just throw some light.
Yeah, okay. So when we say that, that as you mentioned that, fashion is changing, or anything means, if item is changing anywhere, or whatever reasons it is, correct? It could be fashion, it could be some problem in the product, it could be anything, right? So in that way, but blockchain, when we are talking about fashion is changing or so, but behind the scenes process is not changing. Okay, so when I meant process is not changing means the manufacturer will be manufacturing, and there will be some agreements with the distributors or the suppliers and all, right? There will be set of process which will be, most of the time those are standards. It is not changing every 2 months or 3 months time frame. If it gets changed also, blockchain is capable enough to handle those changes. But yeah, we need to change the smart contract. For example, now in the smart contract, I have mentioned that manufacturer will build it, and when they say that it has been shipped to the next party, then the status will get updated in this, right? Now where is the exact status or how many days it will take and all, that's like a operational thing which will go into the blockchain as an information, but blockchain will not do anything about that. But yes, you can attach some service level or agreements to that, saying that it was supposed to reach in 2 days or it reaches in 3 days. Then information is a blockchain, it means that is right, that it reached in 3 days. Okay, so and if you think that we should consider some weather conditions or so, correct, so such related information should also go in blockchain, so that we can keep track of it, and accordingly decisions can be made. So faster supply chain, in the sense it will be faster because all information is available. For example, now if you are looking for some information, and if there is no blockchain, then you will be reaching out to those department or the person or the organization by many other ways. But here you have, if you are part of the blockchain network, you can see the available information at that moment only. So that communication part, it could can sometimes it is faster, sometimes it takes time, but that time what it has been taken, it is not required if you use blockchain behind the scenes, because every time information is available with you. So in that way it is faster, so that you can meet according to the requirement, according to the requirement of your industry. So blockchain will help in that way. For example, there is no middleman also generally to get that information, or these parties, because it's a very big supply chain. In general, these parties are not connected. They, though generally in current scenarios, or sometimes they work in isolated way, because they do not have the connection. So once they come on blockchain network, the same network can be used for different needs. For example, it's not only supply chain, but you can take an example, saying that why not, if that requirement comes into the network from the reverse chain, means what customer says, retailer, supplier, distributor, some suggestions may come in also in this way, right? Because all are connected in the party. It's very common for all industries. If people works in silos or in a different isolated environment, information does not flow. So this particular blockchain network helps better to flow the information, timely information,
and uniformly. There is no heterogeneous information flowing into the network, which will be really helpful to meet the need of the time, or need of the requirement, or whatever you can call it. You can meet with the targets, with the trends, like that.
So I'd also like to share that fashion product returns. Now, this is one area that is a big problem, a huge problem in terms of the traceability of the product returns. Some product returns, especially if they are returned due to defects, uh, if you use the blockchain network, you can actually track the shipment and the returned material. You can trace the returned material, whether it has been received by the manufacturer or not. And those are areas where, because of blockchain, you have a irrefutable kind of understanding on the exact status of the product per se.
I'll add one more point here. Like, for the blockchain, as you are, you are tracing that, whether it is going back also, or no, it is reaching to the customer also, it will reduce that, because we are recording all the steps in the supply chain, correct? Which will be, once the user get that authenticity of the material and all, that customer satisfaction will be there. Sometimes that information, if it is not available, by gut feeling, or by seeing that, no, if it is an apparel, by seeing that also, sometimes end user gets like, no, it is not thing, and we return it, something like that, right? It may not, means there are many other things. If transparency or all the required information is not provided to the customer, then customer can return it, which will, like, if through blockchain we can meet that satisfaction level of the customer, it will reduce that product recall itself, right? And dispute resolution, as Dolly is mentioning, that will not be there, because everything is recorded on the blockchain. And in addition to that, we can club this use case with AI, where it no quality test can be done using AI, and then test results should be logged into the blockchain, so that later stage we can claim that it has passed these stages. So it means after this only, on the way, something tampered has been happened with the quality of the cloth. Okay, so there are ways to handle it. So you just think about the problem, then you will say, how can we mix and match, right? I have one more few more, I'll just cover that, Dolly. I have few more
Yeah,
things.
please.
Yeah. So I have think about, like, how can we monitor deliveries? It is like, one is supply chain traceability. Another one is like consumer and the seller is like, when we have ordered items, we are, if it is a big product, say diamond or something like that, then we will be really worrying about it, where it is, right? Either if it is 24 hours also, then also we will be very excited, you say, or uh, some different feeling, but we will be doing that. So can we monitor that? Because for bigger items, only courier tracking and all will not be helpful. If, for example, like our phones, when we order or so, right? Till the time we do not open the box, we really do not know whether it is really a phone or something else, right? So similarly, there are some identification attached with the product, which should be sending some data to the blockchain and can be monitored. It will provide you the good experience for the user, so that he will be informed for each and every step, and satisfaction level, or say that will experience will be very different. So the consumer experience is very much important in any industry, and especially in fashion industry, it is very much important. So you should look forward, what all ways we can achieve more satisfaction of the consumer. So like anything, if you see on online shopping, if I just say that, I do many online shoppings, but the type of photos and they show, and the type of product I really get it, it is very different, right? So if I can show you the truth of that particular piece, that authenticity of the material, or it could be the case they are showing me Zara top online but delivering some local brand with a Zara tag, that is quite possible, right, in these days. So we can reduce this counterfeit items also. Blockchain is in other industries, say in healthcare, say medicine, or say in supply chain also, in trade finance also, we are using blockchain to stop counterfeiting. So counterfeiting will be the it is very difficult to do in the case of blockchain. Sometimes say items gets lost, it is not replaced with the fake one, it is misplaced. So that also can be tracked very easily here, right? And sometimes if the fake has been introduced, that the identification what you're using, it could be RFID or it could be QR code, if it is damaged or so, that cannot be generated as same as is, right? So that is what we can find out at which place counterfeiting happened. Currently we cannot do that because that related information is not getting stored. So, and again, dispute may happen that you only said that, we don't know, we didn't do, right? So blockchain provides that trust in the transparency because of immutability, or the finality that whatever is there in the ledger, it is there in the ledger. We can reduce it, right? Counterfeiting of the items. There are few
So,
more. Yeah, sure.
sure. Uh, just to add to that, the counterfeit of goods, especially in the fashion industry, as per one of the survey agency called Visual Capitalist, is about $300 billion kind of counterfeiting that is happening in the fashion sector alone. That is why blockchain is something that is a good way to really solve this particular problem. And some of the brands are already doing it. For example, there is a Cardano blockchain, which is there, which is being used by a brand called New Balance, which authenticates its shoes. So shoes is, as I said, that one of a major category in the fashion segment for men, where you can verify the information about a pair of sneakers with the data which is recorded in the blockchain. And also, there is another blockchain called Provenance, which is a supply chain company which operates on open source software, which encourages developers across the world to contribute to the project. So, Provenance and Cardano blockchain are already operational by a couple of brands. One is a private network, other is a open sourced network, and a lot of brands, small brands are also, small supply chain companies are also using it. So, for example, in the Provenance platform, they use a smartphone readable QR code or RFID tag embedded into t-shirts. The t-shirts or underside in the jewelry. And they are not only able to give you the journey of the cotton t-shirts, but also in terms of really tracking the high value products in terms of this thing by using the QR code or the RFID tag in the supply chain. So the fashion industry has been slow in adopting the this thing, but smartphone readable QR codes and RFID tags are already seeing a lot of adoption in the fashion sector. Especially, there is one use case story of that particular brand is being shared. I'm forgetting the name of the exact brand, but it actually traces the entire journey of that particular product in the industry. And it's one of the Indian fashion designers who has used it. Another example in the fashion industry is the Adidas, which released its collection called Climate Chill. Now, this is a titanium and aluminum built into the fabric, which gives a wearer a cold sensation while working out. Now, these are blockchain application where you are actually using, supporting new innovations in the fashion sector, and capturing that information and storing it in the blockchain to really give a authenticity of the blockchain. And another company in New York called Scow makes scarves that filter and clean the air. And this uses the technology which the military uses to protect against chemical warfare. And this also is application area which is being tracked by the blockchain. And the blockchain, what it does is just verifies the authenticity of the product through the embedded chip. And these are some of the use cases that actually give a lot of uh, so if you stop your screen share, I can show some of these pictures.
Sure.
Shika?
Yeah.
So is my screen visible now, or?
Yeah, and we can see.
So this is one example where one of the brand is actually using a combination of virtual reality, smart tag, which is an RFID chip, and your mobile phone to really find out the entire details about the product from the supply chain point of view, from the store point of view, as well as from the, if you want to go into more detail about the manufacturing capability. So there is a app that can be downloaded, and you can actually point on the showroom or on the e-commerce site on that product, and actually find out more details about it. Where was it made? What is the price? What is the combination that it can work with? And what is the kind of stock in of that particular item in the store, and so on and so forth. So this has actually been developed using the blockchain based technology and a combination of augmented reality in the this thing. So while we are in terms of the this thing, we in the world which is using smartphones, cameras, and other devices as data collection nodes, clothes are also being used to gather the data. And it's blockchain that has been enabling this, and this is where the innovation is going to really lead, and the combination or the fusion of multiple technologies is being kind of brought together by the blockchain, especially giving in the authenticity to it. So I think it covers most of the areas. It's still very nascent, but we are seeing a lot of progress in terms of the adoption in the this thing. But I think the biggest application area is the traceability, and how new innovations are being authenticated through the blockchain, through the, again, the traceability part of it. So but there is so much of scope on improving the supply chain issues, and especially in the fashion prediction. So for example, in the fashion prediction, there is you have a fashion season. That means you really prepare most of the garments much before the season, and you actually have to sell it during the season. That means that if you do not really reach out to your target customer, or you do not really reach out to the you find out what are the current trends. So AI is helping in terms of really getting the trends, and then supply chain through the blockchain network has been helping in terms of really making sure that the products reach in time, and you are optimizing the supply chain network in terms of actual shipment, so that you do not have a problem in terms of really getting into the uh, state that the actual product does not reach the stores in time of that particular season. So if you have summer collection, it should not land up in winters. You need to really make sure that you plan everything backward integrated, and there is where blockchain has really shown a lot of interest, and there are multiple brands which are using it in the international market. Unfortunately, in India, we do not have too much of adoption for these technologies. And that's one of the reasons why we want more and more number of people, like Sam has his own software product range, and he's been working with multiple brands. So these are the kind of things that you could explore, a combination of RFID tags, blockchain, and IoT integration into the product, where you can trace it seamlessly across the entire supply chain network. Trace it right up to because authenticity is becoming a very, very big issue in the fashion world. Shikha, what is touched about most of the points? Your last comments that you would like to really share in terms of uh, the blockchain applications in the fashion industry, and how IBM could support in terms of energizing the ecosystem.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so now blockchain is really powerful, and then I think we have seen that there are many things which we can do with the blockchain. Now, in terms of, I'll just say that you just dream big, and once you see dream, then of course technology is there, to fulfill it. There is one just the one royalty tracking was the use case which you can just read about it, that how can you do. And one interesting area is like warranties and coupons, where and people should not bother about that where my product is under warranty or something like that, right? So it will be managed automatically on the blockchain, because you know who is the end user of the product, when he bought it, and when no till when it comes under the warranty or so. So such things, minor things, if you small overheads, if you reduces from the end user, again that's a very good factor for the customer, because you are providing one level of comfort with that, correct? So like that, and using that, that offers also can be customized with the help of AI and blockchain both. So like that, there are many use cases in the in the fashion industry. You name you find out the problem, technology is there, and as an IBM, as a technology company, we are always there to help you out, to try it out. I will suggest, or I'll recommend or motivate to all of you, please come out with the problem statement. Don't think about the technology, that how which technology will be helpful or so. You think about the problem to enhance the fashion industry in India, to grow more in India, or to say to uh, dream uh, dream big to do it, at an international level, where we can really shine the Indian brands. So with that thing, if you find any difficulty, and put your imaginations into your ideas, and then ideas to implementation, IBM will be there for the help you. There are many technologies where, and we have many technology experts which can help you for each and every level. And all the best for your hackathon, and happy Diwali to all. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shikha. It was very, very interesting to understand blockchain in such simple language. At the same time, we've been able to really kind of get a hang of how we could improve our the fashion industry, especially bringing in technology in the center stage of the fashion, both in terms of supply chain and traceability through blockchain in today's session.
Yeah.
I think
Thank you.
this is the very nascent in India, and we need to really do a lot more. So, hackathon is one medium to really let people explore ideas and share their problems, and you can come out with solutions on that. So it's a small step that we are taking, but I think we have a long, long way to go. And especially, we need a lot more innovation, a lot more cross-disciplinary teams to work together from both from the fashion industry as well as the so there is a definitive need for professional experts like you to really share their knowledge so that fashion technologists and fashion related people like Sam and Neonix Karambir is there. These are people who are either from the technology or the fashion side who have been innovating in their own way, but they are not able to really get to scale because of lack of knowledge of the other side. That is, the fashion people don't have enough experience on the technology side. And the technology side, there is little awareness about this. So I think this probably would help bridge the gap and see how we could bring it together to really put some. So we had in between in today's session Aditya Tiwari, who's a very famous lawyer in the innovation sector. He's been working very closely with the fintech, especially in the cross-border payments, and he was there for a short time in the session, and just like to acknowledge that. And he's been helping to set up the first fintech sandbox in the state of Maharashtra in Bombay. And I think we like to do the same in the fashion tech arena with his help and support. And of course, IBM support. So these are some areas which actually need a lot more, because the fashion market is so big, but there is absolutely neither a regulation nor a innovation sandbox which is available where you could do some kind of testing locally and take the products global. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody who has been there on the program, as well as on the Facebook and the YouTube channels. We've had some students log in from different cities to view the YouTube live link. Unfortunately, we don't have a full-fledged channel, so we can't really get too much of questions right away, because we've just started this thing, and YouTube doesn't provide you with a channel until and unless you've surpassed a certain number of views. So we can't trace it, but we've recorded the session, and I think a lot of people will be viewing the recorded session and being able to really get the insights. And we're looking forward to your support in the future also, especially reschedule few things based on the feedback that we've received on the Diwali break. During the Diwali on your own, but people have said that we would like to really engage only after Diwali, and so we'll probably shift the hackathon for 10 more days. So thank you once again. And with that, I'd like to end the session. If there are any parting comments that you'd like to give, come in.
Thank you very much. In fact, I would like to see the technology in the fashion industry, because when the request came to me, I was also surprised what can technology do in this industry, because we are not domain people, right? So, but yeah, with this session, through this session, I learned that yeah, it is very much there, already there, and we need to work towards it. So, all the very best to all the whoever is working in this industry. It's a good area to explore. You bring in domain expertise, we will bring technology into it. So reach out to us for any help. We will be there to help. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Shikha
you.
ji.
Thank you.
It was great, enlightening, and Dolly ji, great program. I did all 3 hours of it, and I learned a lot. And I will be following up with both of you, and we want to get this going. AI and blockchain in fashion. That is a breakthrough technology, and will definitely cash in on that. And this is the right time.
True. Thank you.
Really a wonderful session.
Thank you so much,
So it's
Sam.
really great one. Great one.
Thank you.
Thank you. So these are people who are on the ground working with one with students and other with the actual fashion designer in LA. So we have we've invited only the few selected people who are really building products and would really benefit from this thing on the Zoom call. The others are actually watching it live, so they could just give the feedback at the end of the program. But the real people who are in the business are the ones who would really benefit out of the whole exercise. So thank you. And with that note, I'll just like to close the session. If both of you can just, whoever is there, Swati, Karamveer, Sam, if you could just switch on your webcam for a minute, we'll just take a photo for the remembrance. Sam, what about
Yes,
you?
I haven't shaved in so many days. So
So I know that you were not well, and so we'll give you that this thing. So fine, we'll just. I think the girls don't like to really come on screen, so. Uh, uh, I don't have that issue, and I don't think Shikha has, because she's been there on the screen for last 3 hours now. And just say cheese so that I can save the moment.